Now we're going to go over Chapter 6, Section 2, using the percentage formula to solve business problems. The percentage formula is an easy way to solve our problems. As long as you can identify all the variables and you understand how to manipulate them, then you're good to go. So the base is a number that represents 100% or the whole thing. The portion is part of the base. So if the base is in dollars, the portion has to be in dollars. If the base is in people, the portion has to be in people. Then the rate is very easily identified. It's the number with the percentage sign or the word percent. So that's extremely easy. The rate is the percentage sign or the word percent. Okay. So you can see here they've listed out on page 160 the different equations, but actually if you look and you go to the next page, page 161 is the magic triangle, and this is such a great way to remember how to do these problems. So if you look here, the magic triangle, the portion goes at the top, and then in the bottom left is the rate, and the bottom right is the base. And so you can see that it's divided into these three sections, and depending on what you're trying to find, so if you're trying to find the proportion, so proportion, and then look at this line as equals rate times base. Okay, then if you look down here at the rate, if you're trying to find the rate, then that's going to equal the proportion over the base. Then if you look at the base, it's going to equal the proportion over the rate. So I really like the magic triangle. Keep it by you. It's an easy way to remember how to solve these problems. So we're going to start by solving for the portion, the p value in our magic triangle. And they have a little picture of it right over here in your textbook. So the portion is the part of the whole, and it will always be the same terms as the base. Remember, dollars, dollars, people, people. All right, so what is the portion if the base is 400 and the rate is 12%? So right here, they've given you everything you need to do. The only thing you have to do first is what? You have to convert this percent to a decimal, which we already know, super easy. We are going to move the decimal place 2 places to the left. It's going to be 0.12. So then all we have to do is P equals R times B. So we're going to do 0.12 times 400, which is 48. So the portion is $48, right? Okay, so right now I want you to pause the video, do try it exercise 5, and check your answers on page 182. Okay, you should have gotten your answer. Now we're going to move on to example 6 using the percentage formula. So the percentage formula, if we go back and look at the magic triangle, down here, percentage equals rate times base. So what number is 43.5% of 250? First thing we do, convert that percent into a decimal, 0.435 times 250. We get 108.75. Go ahead, pause the video, do try it exercise 6 on your own, check your answer on 182. Okay, now let's take a look at example 7, which is using the percentage formula again. So it's the same one that we just used, P equals R times B. It says Republic Industries procured 6,000 stoves last week. 2% were defective. How many defective stoves were produced? So 2%, move the decimal place 2 places to the left, 0.02 times 6,000. 120 stoves were defective last week. Go ahead and take a moment, pause the video, do try it exercise 7 on your own. This is a 2-part question. Okay, you should have the answer, checked it on 182. We're going to go on to focusing on solving for the rate. So the rate, if we look at the magic triangle, is the portion divided by the base. So the rate is the variable that describes part of the base. What part of the base is represented by the portion? Remember, the rate is a percentage. So our answer is going to be in a percentage. What is the rate if the base is 160 and the portion is 40? So we need the portion divided by the base. 40 divided by 160 is 0.25. We convert that back to a percent, 25%. Go ahead and do try it exercise 8 now, and then restart the video when you're done. Okay, let's go on to the next. So we have 2 more, example 9 and example 10. It's the same type of problem. I want you to take a few minutes, read the example, and then do the try it exercise 9 and 10. Remember to check your answers. Okay, now you've had some practice with that. We're going to move on to solving for the base. Now, when we solve for the base, again, do not forget to convert your rate into a decimal. So we don't want to leave it as a percent when we're doing calculations. So if you look at example 11 and example 12, notice that the first thing they did was convert, in this case, 21% to 0.21, and down here 15% to 0.15. These are pretty straightforward problems, so I want you to go ahead, pause the video, and do the try it exercises for 11 and 12. Okay, also take a moment. We've got one more, example 13. It says All-Star Sporting Goods reports that 28% of total shoe sales are from Nike products. If last week's Nike sales were 15,400, what was the total amount of sales for the week? So we're doing the base equals portion divided by rate again, the same as the other one. So I'd like for you to pause the video and do try it exercise 13 now, and then we will go on to the next part of the chapter. Thanks, everyone. Keep up the good work.